Hi, in this video I'd like to show you how to add projects to CostLocker. If you just registered, click on the blue Add Project button on the home screen. There are 4 steps to add a project. At the moment, we're on the first step where you define basic information about the project. First, enter the project name. If you number your projects, add the project ID here. Alternatively, you can use the Auto ID option, which will automatically number newly created projects. Then click on the option to create a new client and enter its name. Then designate the expected start date and end date of this project. This is important because of time tracking. This means that then this project will appear in people's time tracking on the start date of the project, not on the end date when you added the project to CostLocker. On the contrary, the end date is related to invoicing and cash flow. But we will talk about that in detail in a different video. In this part, you define the people responsible for implementing this project. At the moment, you're the person responsible for the project. When you have added several people to CostLocker, you can remove yourself as a responsible person and add somebody else. Next comes the part where you can tag projects. What do we recommend using tags for? First, you can indicate whether it is a project that is billable to the client or whether you're working on an internal project that is non-billable. So I'll select that we are currently working on a project that is billable. Tags are also useful because you can categorize all projects with them, and then compare these categories in the reporting section based on financial metrics monitored in CostLocker. This lets you determine which types of projects really earn you a living. So one category could be that you create mobile applications, another that you manage a client's Facebook page. I will enter that this project belongs to this category here. Now we are on the second step where we can add the project budget. Gradually add the activities this project is composed of. Start by entering the name of the first activity, then the rate you bill the client for this activity here. Then add the people who will be performing this activity. If you choose yourself, a dialog window will pop up where you must complete your monthly wage and number or monthly work hours. This is usually 160 hours. The validity date of this workload need not be edited at this time. This is the only way we can calculate the cost of your work time on the project and subsequently its profitability. If somebody else will be performing this project activity, click on the Add New Person option. A dialog window will appear in which you must indicate their name, surname, and email. If you do not want the person to receive an invitation email after saving, uncheck this option. It is also necessary to designate this person's role in the application. If you choose the employee role, they will only be allowed to track time worked on projects. The second manager role is designated for people who manage projects, which is why people with this role can also create projects in CostLocker. For this role, you can also define whether the person can see and edit only their own projects or all projects added to CostLocker by other managers. In any case, a person with a manager role sees the total project budgets, the number of estimated hours and work hours, and the remaining project budget. On the contrary, they do not see the costs and profits of projects. And if you choose the administrator, you give the person access to all project data, including costs and profits. For all 3 roles, you must then indicate whether it is a person you pay monthly or by the hour. If they get a wage, enter its amount in this field, and in this field enter their number of monthly working hours. This is usually 160 hours, but if you pay the person by the hour, enter their hourly rate into this field. Then save the entered data by clicking on the Add Person button. This takes you a step back to the open project price calculation. Choose the newly added person for the given activity and enter the number of estimated hours they have to perform the indicated project activity. Repeat this procedure to add activities and people. At the moment, this is the only way to create a project budget. However, we know about other methods when you only know the total project price and number of hours, but don't yet know who will be working on the project. These are fixed price projects that can also be added to CostLocker, but have certain limitations, which I will tell you more about in the next video. Now let's continue to the third step, in which you define external project costs. This may involve the purchase of photos that you buy for a certain amount and invoice the client for a certain amount. Here you choose the date when you expect to pay this external cost. As a result, we will add this cost to the relevant month in cash flow. More about that in a different video. However, you can add external workers that you purchase a certain service from to external costs. For instance, here I buy the creation of a video from an external worker, and I sell it to the client with a margin for this amount. Now you're on the last step of project creation, where you can add a potential discount on the project. You can only enter the amount, not a percentage. By adding a discount, all the hourly rates for activities will be reduced proportionally. For example, the client rate for project management will be $100, but only $90.76. We have just created the first project in CostLocker. Now we are on the project overview, which contains the most important information about the current financial status of the project. The most interesting information is probably the expected profit from the project. In other words, the expected profit of the project, assuming that nobody on the team exceeds their planned time estimate for individual activities. You can use this to motivate people. For example, share 20% of the profit from this project with them if nobody exceeds their estimates. I have already mentioned that by adding people to the project, you have allowed them to start tracking work time. I would like to talk about that in the next video.